Day 4. The Abyss of Thirst. Jack is huddled by the campfire. He reaches up to touch his throat, as if feeling the thirst again. You know, after making it across that deadly river, I thought I was in the clear, but I was wrong. On the 4th day, the sun was high, the air was scorching, and I ran out of water. Every step was pure torture. My mouth was bone dry. My throat felt like it was lined with hot coals. I searched everywhere, pushing through every bush, hoping to find a small spring, but there was nothing. Just dry, cracked earth and lifeless rocks. The scene shifts back to a flashback. Jack is stumbling through a parched forest. He lurches forward, falls, and then struggles to his feet again. He reaches out to touch dry leaves, his efforts futile. I felt like I was about to collapse. My heart was pounding in my chest, and a ringing echoed in my ears. I could almost hear my own skin crying out for water. The thirst was like an invisible monster, squeezing the life out of me, little by little. My vision started to blur. Everything in front of me became a haze. I truly believed I would die here, alone. For a reason so simple it felt absurd. Dehydration. The path ahead was anything but easy. I had to push through sharp thorns and swat away stiff, dry branches that jabbed at my face. My feet were raw and bleeding. Every step was a sharp pain. The ground was loose with jagged rocks, and I kept slipping. I staggered across a rocky slope, nearly tumbling into a ravine. I tried to grab onto some rotten tree trunks, but they crumbled away the moment I touched them. My disappointment grew with every passing moment. I started talking to myself. Keep going, Jack. Just a little further. There has to be water. But my voice was hoarse, and I had no strength left. At one point, I saw a dry riverbed, but when I got closer, all there was cracked mud and tiny insects crawling over it. Hope was crushed, and it hurt more than having no hope at all. I started to hallucinate. I saw a clear, pristine lake, with trees reflected perfectly on its surface. I rushed toward it, scooping up a handful of water, but all I felt was sand and dust. I collapsed, crying. My hot tears ran down my cheeks, mixing with the dirt on my face. I wanted to scream, but my throat was too raw. Despair washed over me. It's over, I told myself. Everything's over. Then I realized something. If I kept going downhill, I'd eventually find a stream. I started to climb down a steep cliff face. My hands and feet gripped the sharp rock ledges, getting scratched and cut. A few times, a loose rock slipped from my grasp, echoing as it fell into the valley below. The heat, radiating from the cliff face, was scorching, threatening to melt me. I thought I had found my way. But then, the rock I was holding onto broke loose. I lost my footing, my body went off balance, and I fell. I bounced and tumbled down the cliff like a log, landing in a deep hole. My head hit a rock, and everything went black. When I came to, I was lying in a hole filled with dry leaves, my body aching. I saw small snakes slithering through the leaf litter. The thirst and fear merged into a single, terrifying horror. I let out a desperate yell, but the sound was swallowed by the emptiness of the space. I managed to crawl out of the hole. The sun beat down, so hot it felt like it was trying to incinerate me. I had wandered into a barren wasteland of thorny cacti. My tongue felt swollen, and I couldn't even swallow. I realized I had fallen into a trap of my own despair. I started to hallucinate again, seeing dark clouds gathering, and suddenly, a downpour. I held out my hands, but only dust and sand fell into my palms. My own tear dropped, fell onto the ground, and vanished. I collapsed, my body trembling and helpless. I looked toward the setting sun, and in that moment, I accepted my fate. I closed my eyes. But then, A phrase my father had told me echoed in my head. In the wilderness, you must learn to find water. If you can't find a stream, look for trees with large leaves. That thought was my last hope. I forced myself to get up and look around. And there it was. A big avocado tree, standing strong among the withered plants. Its leaves were unusually large and green. I staggered toward it, my eyes ready to devour every green leaf. Jack holds a large leaf tenderly. Drops of water on the leaf glisten in the sunlight like precious jewels. He carefully lifts the leaf to his lips, catching each drop of cool water. Every single drop of crystal clear water that trickled into my mouth was like a miracle. The cool sensation spread from my throat to my entire body. It wasn't much, but it was enough to save my life. I found another leaf and another. I collected each drop as if I were gathering grains of gold. The feeling in that moment was better than anything else in the world. I had survived the abyss of thirst, but I knew my journey was far from over. Thank you for listening to my story on day 4. Now, I invite you to listen to the relaxing melody, and I will continue the story of day 5 I experienced when facing the big bear.
Beneath the sky, so vast and still, a whisper moves, a gentle will. Through shadows deep, it finds its way. Beneath the sky, so vast and still, a whisper moves, a gentle will. Through shadows deep, it finds its way. Beneath the sky, so vast and still, a whisper moves, a gentle will. Through shadows deep, it finds its way. knows a gentle will. Through shadows deep it finds its way.